It would be very strange if we found somebody with an innate desire for something that doesn't exist. Suppose we went to another planet and found a race of other beings there that were monosexual. They were all male, no females. But every one of them was a Romeo that kept longing for a non-existent Juliet. That would be meaningless. It couldn't be. Or suppose we went to another planet and we found that there were beings there which had bodies that were not based on carbon, but on silicone. So they were like glass people, and they didn't have digestive organs, and they didn't have stomachs, but they were constantly getting hungry. Impossible. Every desire corresponds to something real, if it's a natural and innate desire. Well, here's the deepest natural innate desire of the human heart, the desire for perfect goodness, the desire that there be a God and a heaven. Where'd that come from? Every other desire proves the existence of its object. Why shouldn't this one? Now the interesting part begins. Questions, please. We have a half hour for questions.
And I'm just thinking, like, a question could be like, why does a mother have unconditional love of her child?
Because mothers are made in God's image.
Right, and a mother's the creator of that child.
God loved us into existence, literally. And mothers, aided by biology, love their children into existence. So love doesn't just respond to something that already exists. That's justice. I love you because you're lovable. You deserve to be loved. If you're not there, you don't deserve anything. So that's pure love. Yeah.
How can we help to restore the faith of those individuals who have lost it as a result of realizing the existence of genocide and natural disaster? How do we go about thinking about offering compassion to people who lost their faith because of such phenomenon?
Augustine quotes an ancient Greek skeptic, Epicurus, who said, "If there is a God, why is there evil? But if there is no God, why is there good? All evil counts against God, and all evil counts for God. So the most effective thing we can do is create good and not evil."
Are natural disasters evil? I don't believe that they are.
They're not moral evil, but they're certainly physical evil. They cause people pain, and God has compassion on us. He designed our bodies. Jesus healed people's body as well as soul. So yes, they are evil, even though they're not moral evil. And natural disasters count against God. That is to say, they naturally raise the question, why, if God loves us and has compassion on us, doesn't he stop this? A human father who could stop some terrible pain from coming to his child wouldn't be, and doesn't do it, wouldn't be a good father.
But it comes from the supernatural or the spiritual world. Why
No.
would the spiritual world govern natural disasters?
Well, at one time that was true, before Genesis 3. God made everything good, and he said good, good, good after each day's work, including ours. But then he also had made angels and gave them free will, and some of them rebelled and became evil. So that's the only evil thing. And then one of them tempted us to buy into that, and then we became partly evil. But God didn't make evil. As a result of the moral evil of sin, there came the physical evil of death. God warned that. In the day you eat the forbidden fruit, you will die. Because our body and our soul belong together. They're not two things loosely connected. They're two dimensions of one thing, like a work of art. The molecules of a statue and the form of the statue, or the meaning of a book and the words of a book, or the notes in the music and the beauty of the music. They're one thing. So our body and our soul are two dimensions of one thing. So they stand or fall together. So when our soul fell by sin, our body also fell by death. So death is an evil. Jesus came not just to conquer sin, but also to conquer death. St. Paul calls it the last enemy. It's not a moral evil, but it's certainly a physical evil.
Thank you.
In many of your books, you talk about the influence of the devil, and in fact, the letter from the devil is exceptional. Can you talk to us a little bit briefly about how do we fight that influence and how we can more made aware of that influence?
Well, you've asked two questions, and I'm glad they were two instead of one, because the one question is how can we fight the devil, and the other question is how can we be made aware of him? Well, you can't fight him if you don't believe he exists. Christianity is not growing very much in Europe and in Canada. It's growing a little bit in America. It's growing enormously in Latin America, in Africa, and in Asia. And there's a number of reasons, but one of them is that in the places where it's dying, people don't believe in the devil, and they don't believe in spiritual warfare, and they don't believe that good and evil are absolute opposites. And in the third world, they do. There are exorcists all over the place. There are miracles all over the place. It's like the early church is happening again, but not here.